Hi my dear friends, welcome back to our video series, and in this new video we're going to start working on our options page, and we're going to have to start with screen resolution as the first option that we can just choose. So with that option we can choose the size of our screen or the resolution. So let's just start making the required items. I'm going to go to the options widget. Okay, here's my canvas. And the first thing that I want to do is to just add the text screen resolution to my canvas and then start working on the buttons. I just dragged an image into my hierarchy, but I needed to drag a text, sorry. So I'm going to drag a text. In the details panel under content, I can just write the screen resolution in the text box, and that's what we want to have on the canvas. Okay. And then I can just control where it is located. So I can just use these controls, position X and Y, and manually move it to the right and a little bit down. So that's what I'm going to do, maybe here. And then I'm going to change the font and also the color. So let's just start with the color. Maybe a grayish color would be nice. And a bigger font, 40, maybe 32. Let's see. Okay, that's good. Now that this is done, I'm gonna have to put 3 buttons here: HD, Full HD, and 4K or Ultra. So I'm gonna start adding the buttons now. I have a couple of options. I can just start dragging buttons here and style them until they are ready, or I can just go back to this start widget and start using these, but they have the image with the text on them. So the best option is to just go back to Photoshop and my reference and maybe change the text on these buttons until they are ready and then import them into Unreal Engine like we used to do. So I'm gonna choose one of these. I'm gonna detach the text from the image, and I'm gonna change the text into HD for this one. Okay, let me just place it in the middle, and let's do this for the next one as well. I already detached the text, so I'm going to change the text into full HD. Okay, let's place this one, center it in the middle as well. I'm not going to use exit. I'm just going to make a copy of full HD here and put it up there and change the text. So for this one I can write ultra, or maybe let's say 4K. Okay, let's use 4K instead of ultra. Let me just place it in the middle. All right, now these 3 buttons are ready, and I'm gonna add the text to the image so they are one piece, and then I'm gonna export them as PNGs and take them into Unreal Engine. They are ready, and I have to just select them here and use export as. Right click on them, export as, and I'm going to use the same name, HD. Okay, for the next one, same thing, right click on it, export as, and I'm gonna use the same name, full HD, for this. Save it, and let's do the same thing for 4K. Export 4K, save. All right, now they are ready. I'm gonna find them here, and I'm gonna drag them into my content browser inside Unreal Engine. So I'm gonna drag them here inside the photos folder. Nice. Now everything's ready. Let's start using these images. I can just drag a button here on my hierarchy and use it on the canvas, change the size and load the image. I can do that, but the better move would be not to do this. Go back to our previous widgets and use one of those buttons, maybe gallery, maybe options, because those buttons already have a lot of the setting. They have the sound, they have the size and everything would be easier. So I'm gonna copy gallery and I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, and then I'm gonna drag it over here. So the only thing that is left to do right now is to just change the image, which is a lot easier. So I'm going to start using these images. Load this image for normal HD. Yeah, okay, same thing for hovered HD and pressed. Okay, HD, and now everything's ready. I can just make it a little bit smaller, put it here. And I need to change the color of the background, so I'm gonna use the color picker here. So tint, color picker, use this color there. Now the background is the same color as the button, and we can just place it here. Let's see the coordinates. So 170 in 65, and we can just use the same coordinates for the next buttons. I'm gonna make a copy of this and put it to the side. I'm gonna place it right next to the previous one. Okay, now I'm gonna load the image full HD for normal, hovered, and pressed. Okay, so the steps are the same. Make a copy of this, put it to the side, to the right. Okay, and now we're gonna do the same thing, load 4K. So where is it? 4K. This is our image for normal, for hovered, and press 2. We have to do the same thing. The image is called 4K. There. Perfect. So what's next? I suggest that we rename these buttons here in the hierarchy to the same name that they are on the canvas. For example, HD here, button 2 should be renamed into HD. So I'm going to press F2. Okay. And I'm gonna rename this to HD. Same thing for the next button, full HD. I'm gonna press F2, full HD, and 4K for the last one. Rename it into 4K. There. All right. Okay, the canvas and the buttons are ready. Now we have to give commands to these buttons so that whenever somebody clicks on the HD, for example, the size changes into HD, or the resolution changes into HD. And we have to do the same thing for the other two buttons as well. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So I'm going to start with HD. I'm going to go to events, unclicked, event graph, and we have our first node here, unclicked. I'm going to drag it over here. Now before that, let me show you something. Inside Unreal, we have this console command box here. Here we can give commands to Unreal, and Unreal will execute those commands for us on our project. Now we need something like this for our blueprints on our event graph. So I'm gonna add the nodes that can just execute console commands that I give it. Okay, so let's go back and add that node and change the size, because that's the type of node we need to change the size. I'm gonna drag this line here, and let's just make sure that we are working on the HD button. Okay, so we are inside the event graph for HD. Okay, this is for HD, unclicked for HD. And I'm gonna drag the line and search for console command. It's execute console command. It's this one. Okay, on the top. Yes, so we add the node, and here inside it we can just type the command that we want. Okay, it's a type of thing that we need to memorize, or better yet, just take a note. And the command is R, and we need to use small letters for this. So the command is R, as in the small letters, dot set res. Okay, and then we need to put in the size. So we're going to use HD size, which is 720x 1280. Okay, so let me just put 1280 here. So this is our HD size. Okay, I'm gonna have to do the same thing for the other buttons. Full HD button, I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna go to unclicked for full HD. Okay, I'm gonna copy this node, the command node. I'm gonna link it, and I'm gonna change the size. The rest is the same, r.setRes. This time I need a full HD size, 1920x 1080. Okay, let's go to 4K, unclicked. Again, same thing. I'm gonna copy paste this. I'm gonna link it, change the size, and the size for 4K is 3840x 2160. Okay, so that is our 4K, and I'm gonna compile and save. Everything seems to be okay. Let's go and save it. And for this one, you need a standalone game. You cannot test this in the other mode, so choose a standalone. I'm gonna save everything. Let's see if it works. Okay, so let's go to options and screen resolution HD. Oh, I see. I think I put numbers for HD in reverse, so I'm gonna fix that. So full HD is working, and let's test 4K because 4K my monitor is not big enough. We cannot see any changes. So full HD and 4K are working. We need to change HD and use the numbers in reverse. So in order to fix the size for HD, I gotta go back to options. Let me just quickly find the right event graph. So inside the options widget, okay, so here, the first one, let me just change the numbers. It should be 1280 x 720. Okay, save and compile. Let's test it again. All right, so let me just go to options and HD. Right, it's working now. This is the HD size. All right, full HD and 4K because my monitor is not big enough. You cannot see the changes. So for a low tier system, this HD size would be nice. And if your system is a high tier one and can handle it, you can just use 4K. Okay, and this is what this very start takes us with the HD size, and you can easily navigate to any part in the scene. Okay, and right now we don't have any escape button so that we cannot exit this once we are inside, but we're gonna take care of that later on. Okay, so let's go back inside Unreal, and now we can just use any size that we want. It doesn't really matter. So if you have a 4K monitor, if you have a big one, you can just use 4K and enjoy the high resolution. So the next item that we would have to make for our options is anti-aliasing, and that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to start with the text. So I'm gonna create a copy of the same text that we have here, a screen resolution. I'm gonna move it down, and then I'm gonna style it, change the text and everything else. So I go to the details panel. Under content, I find text. Now I need to write anti with anti-aliasing. I wanna capitalize the words. So it's a little difficult for me to type right now because the microphone is blocking half of my monitor. So anti-aliasing, okay, there. And now let's go to the buttons. So I'm gonna use low, medium, and high, and I'm gonna do everything in Photoshop like we just did. So I'm gonna use this HD button, for example. I'm gonna change the text and start with from there. So I'm gonna put in low. So I'm gonna use small letters this time, low, and then I'm going to combine the text and the image with Control E. I'm going to select them both, Control E. Now I'm going to right click on it and use export as, and export it. I'm going to use the name low, save, there. Let's just do the same thing for medium and high, change the text into medium. All right, and I'm going to center the text on the image, select both the image and the text, combine them with Control E, and I'm gonna right click on them as one, export as. This time the name is medium, save, and finally I'm gonna put in high. Okay, so let me just center the text, combine the two, the text and the image, and right click on it, export as, high, save. Great. So I need to import them into Unreal now. I'm going to select them here, drag them over here inside the content browser, the photos folder, like so. Now they are ready. Now I'm going to select all of these buttons. I'm going to copy everything in the hierarchy. Let's see. Paste. What happened? Okay. Unsuccessful. Let me just copy them from the canvas all together. Oh, there's a problem here. I cannot copy everything at once, so I'm going to do it one by one. You know what, let's just try one more time. Okay, there's a problem, so I'm going to do it one by one. I'm going to put HD down here, and the same steps that we did for the previous parts, I'm gonna place it over here and load the right image, which is low. Okay, so I'm going to search for low, That's the image for normal. Same thing for hovered. So searching for the image called low. And finally for press, the same thing. Let's find it, low. Okay. All right, so let me just align it there. Make a copy of it, put it to the right. Try to align it manually. Okay. And this time the image is medium. Search for medium. That's this one, medium. Okay. There. So select medium for hovered and pressed. Okay, get a copy of this. And for the last one, put it there. Change the image into high. Search for high. That's the one for hovered and pressed as well. And we are done. Okay, we don't need that medium anymore. Let me just delete it. Okay, now the styling is done and the buttons are ready, so we can just add commands to these buttons. I'm going to start with low. Before that, let me just change the name into hierarchy so that everything's easier. So low for this, medium, F2, medium. Okay. And last one, high in hierarchy. I rename it to high. Okay. So now we can just go ahead and start with the low button. Go and add the command to change the anti-aliasing for low here. So I go down to events, unclicked, and I'm going to use the previous node that we just used, execute console command. I'm going to create a copy of this, link it. Now we need to change the command, okay? And the command for anti-aliasing, the right command is r dot anti-aliasing method. Okay. So this is the command to use for Unreal Engine 5. If you are using Unreal Engine 4, however, the command is different. You should put in r.postprocess AA quality and then the value. All right. So let me just type that in real quick so that you could just see. For Unreal Engine 4, you should type in r.postprocess AA quality space and 0, for example, which is the lowest value that you can use. Okay. So let me just put the previous command back in, r.anti-aliasing method for Unreal Engine 5. I'm going to start with 0, which is the lowest value, and then I'm going to go to the medium button, unclicked, do the same thing, copy this node, link it, change this value to 1 this time for medium. Same thing for high, go to unclicked, copy this execute console command node, paste it here, link it, and this time I'm going to use the value 2 for this, for high. And if you're using Unreal Engine 4, you can just use the value 0, 4, and 6, for example. Let me just compile and go back and test it. Okay, so I'm going to copy the command here. So instead of going inside the standalone game, I'm going to show it inside the level to you. Okay, so this is our level, and we can just test out different anti-aliasing values right now here. So inside the console command, I'm gonna type in the command here, 1. Okay, no changes. Maybe there's something wrong with the command. Oh, I needed to capitalize the words, so let me just delete this. Yes, anti-aliasing method with capitalized words. And I'm going to make a copy of this for the blueprint. And let's try out the value 1 first. Okay, so look at the edges, look at the vibrations. Let's try 2. See, the vibrations are gone. The edges are more smooth. And I'm going to give you a closer look here. Let's just try it again. Let's try the value 0. So this is the most jagged looking edges that we could have. Lowest anti-aliasing possible. See the vibrations? It's almost as if it's shaking the scene. And let's try the value 4. See, the vibrations are gone and everything's more smooth. So let's go back. I need to change these commands. I'm pasting the right commands with the capitalized words. Okay, for all 3 execute console command nodes. There. Compile and save. Done. Alright, now that anti-aliasing is taken care of, we should move on to the next item in options, which is texture quality. Let's make texture quality. The steps are the same, so I'm gonna create another text box. I'm gonna copy one of these that we already have and paste it. I'm gonna move it down. Okay, so let me just find it here in the hierarchy. It's this one. Let me just put it down, and then I'm gonna change the text. In content text, I'm gonna put in texture quality. Okay, so let's just do things quickly. Texture quality. I'm gonna capitalize the T here, so I'm not gonna be too much focused on the styling of these. So screen should be capitalized too. Okay, let's just move on. I'm gonna give you a little demonstration so that you understand what we're going to do. So inside our console command, I'm going to type in sg, small letters, sg dot texture quality. It's this one, okay? Now you may ask, what does this do? Let me just show you something here. So if we go to setting and engine scalability setting, you can see that we have access to the controls for the quality of everything, okay? So we have low, medium, high, epic, cinematic, and auto for post-processing, anti-aliasing, textures, everything. Okay, so let's just choose high for everything. Okay, so textures is also high. So let me just close this and type in the command sg texture quality space 0. Let's go back and check it out. The scalability setting, textures has been put on low. Okay, so the quality of textures has been determined to be low by us. Let's try 1 as the value. It moves to medium, so the texture quality moves to medium. So that's how it works. So let's just start building the buttons. I'm going to use the same buttons that we just used. So start with low. I'm going to copy it and paste it here for texture quality. We're going to use the same exact buttons here. So I'm going to copy medium now and paste it to the right of low. Okay, and let's just do the same thing for high as well. Let's just find it here. Where did it go? So I made a couple of copies, extra copies. I'm gonna delete these, copy it again. Where did it go? It falls outside of the canvas. I need to find it. It's gotta be here. So yeah, high, put it down here. Okay, so the buttons are ready now in terms of the style, and we can just move on to the commands. But before that, again, let's just change the names. For these, I'm gonna put hyphen and T so that we know that they belong to texture quality. Same for medium and high, underscore T. Okay, all right, so let's start with low, go to events and find unclicked. All right, I'm gonna copy this node, execute console command. All right, and I'm gonna link it and type in the command. Let's just type it here, sg dot texture quality and 0. I'm gonna copy this, put it here, control V. Okay, it's ready. Now let's do the same thing for medium T. Medium T, this one unclicked. Copy the node, link it. Copy the command, change the value to 1. Okay, this was medium. Let's do high now, high T, unclicked. Copy the console command node, paste the command and use 2. You know what? Let's just use 3 and compile and save. We can just go and test it out. So we just completed our options page or widget completely. We took care of anti-aliasing, resolution, and texture quality. I already showed you what it does, so all we have to do is to just test it in the game mode and see what happens. Okay, so if you have a low-end system, go to options and use lower setting. So I can just use 4K full HD and put this on medium, high. It doesn't matter a ton, but it still matters. So I'm going to put these two on high and full HD for resolution. Let's go back and to start and see what we get. So it's going to take a couple of seconds for it to be loaded, and because we have many objects in the scene and nothing is nanite, it's going to take some time. Later on I'm going to show you how to make a loading screen as well. So this is the scene, and it's working perfectly. We can just go back and test out everything one more time. So let's go back, test out other options. All right, so this time let's go to gallery. Okay, so gallery, picture on the right, picture on the left, everything's working. Go to options and HD. See, it's working full HD and 4K, which my monitor doesn't show right now because it's not big enough. I'm gonna put everything on low, anti-aliasing and texture quality on low. Let's go back and click on start and see where that takes us. Okay, so the texture quality and anti-aliasing is on low. We should see the differences. Okay, you can see the edges are too jagged and you can see the vibrations, and that is because we chose low as our anti-aliasing value. So sometimes we have to do that because our system is just simply too old and cannot handle the scene. So that's it for this session. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.